Ready for a story that really kind of bends your mind about how we think of genius?
Oh, yeah.
We're diving deep into Srinivasa Ramanujan, an Indian mathematical prodigy.
Right.
Early 1900s, he was a clerk, no formal math training, but he had this almost uncanny ability to see patterns and formulas that even really, really smart mathematicians couldn't.
It's one of those stories that, throws a real wrench in our assumptions about, where brilliance comes from.
Yeah.
We tend to think of, these prestigious institutions and years of study and all of that.
Yeah.
But then you have someone like Ramanujan and you think, wow, okay, maybe it can come from anywhere.
So we're using a YouTube video transcript as our guide.
Okay, cool.
And you shared this with me, and it is full of fascinating details.
I'm excited to dive in.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
One of the things that's really interesting is how Ramanujan saw numbers.
Yeah, like differently than most people, right?
Yeah, so the transcript mentions this thing about the number 1729.
Okay.
And most of us would just see that as any other number. Like, what's so special about that?
So what's so cool about it is that he immediately saw it as the smallest number that can be expressed as the sum of two cubes.
Oh.
In two different ways.
Oh.
Like he just knew it.
Wow.
And it just shows you, like his grasp of number theory was just intuitive.
Like he was just seeing things that other people weren't.
Exactly. And that's actually what caught the attention of G.H. Hardy.
Oh, yeah.
Who was like a super prominent mathematician at Cambridge at the time.
And he becomes a really important in Ramanujan's story, right?
Oh, absolutely. He's crucial.
Yeah, he sees his potential in this young man from India.
Yeah.
Even though the way that Ramanujan was working didn't have like the rigorous proofs
Totally.
that were standard in Western mathematics.
It was a very different approach. And I think, some of Hardy's colleagues were skeptical.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, like, is this guy for real?
Mm-hmm.
But Hardy really took a chance on him.
That's so cool.
He's a huge turning point in history of math, really.
Wow. And so then Ramanujan's journey to England to work with Hardy.
Yeah.
That's when we start to see some of these cultural barriers and prejudices.
Like huge cultural differences.
And the transcript mentions the racism he faced.
Yeah.
And the difficulties with, he had a strict vegetarian diet.
Oh, right.
Trying to maintain that in a foreign land.
Yeah, it makes you wonder if Hardy really truly understood and appreciated, like, the depths of Ramanujan's perspective,
Right, because he was coming from this completely different mathematical tradition, right?
Yeah. And, with Hardy's background so steeped in that Western rigor.
Yeah.
You almost wonder if he saw it more as like, oh, this is a fascinating puzzle to decipher.
Yeah.
Let's take this and translate it for everyone else.
Right.
So they can understand it.
Interesting.
So there's this underlying tension, I think, in their collaboration between intuition and that formalized proof.
Yeah, and I think about that a lot with different creative fields too. You've got this real intuitive spark versus this needing to prove it and make it fit into this.
Yeah. Can we appreciate things that fall outside of the norms?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
It's an interesting question.
But it wasn't just the mathematical stuff.
Yeah.
The transcript hints at all these cultural clashes too.
Oh, yeah. I mean, think about it. He's navigating a society completely different from his own.
Right. Just the everyday things must have been so difficult.
Exactly. And it kind of, when we think about this, it also speaks to these systemic barriers.
Oh, yeah.
That pop up in academia,
Where talent isn't always seen.
Yeah.
And then even when it is, there are all these obstacles that can keep people from reaching their full potential.
Exactly.
So let's talk about one of Ramanujan's big achievements.
Okay.
His work on partitions.
Oh, yeah. Fascinating stuff.
So the transcript explains this concept with the number 4.
Okay.
So essentially, a partition is a way to express a number as a sum of smaller whole numbers.
Okay, I'm following you.
So for 4, you have 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1.
Okay.
You have 2 plus 2.
Got it.
2 plus 1 plus 1, 3 plus 1, and then just 4 by itself.
Okay.
So that's 5 different partitions.
Okay, cool.
So what Ramanujan did was develop these complex formulas to calculate the number of partitions for any number.
Really?
Yeah.
That had stumped mathematicians for a long time.
Yeah, for centuries.
Wow.
And the transcript mentions this guy, Major McMahon, who was another mathematician, who was initially super skeptical
of
Ramanujan.
Okay.
But McMahon was known for manually calculating partitions.
Oh, wow.
He had spent weeks working out the partitions for the number 200.
Oh, my God.
And then Ramanujan came along with his formula.
Yeah, boom.
Yeah.
Blew everyone away.
Revolutionized the field.
I bet.
And it was incredibly accurate and impressed even his toughest critics.
It was so good.
So clearly this was he could see things that other people couldn't even imagine.
Yeah, it was like a sixth sense for numbers almost.
Totally. But then the story takes a turn. The transcript reveals that he contracted tuberculosis while he was in England.
Oh, that's awful. Yeah, just awful. To be at the height of your intellectual powers.
Yeah.
And then
struck down.
Yeah, it's it just makes you think about how fragile life is.
Right, even for these brilliant minds.
Lovely.
So the transcript talks about how Hardy really tried to help him during this time.
Like a true friend,
Yeah, he visited him in the sanatorium, tried to keep his spirits up, encourage him to keep working.
It makes you think, did that contribute to a sense of urgency for Ramanujan?
Oh, he had to get all this work out.
I have to leave this knowledge behind.
Oh, that's interesting.
Before it's too late.
Wow. There's this really powerful moment in the transcript.
Okay.
Where Ramanujan talks to Hardy about where his ideas come from.
Oh, yeah, like the source of his insight.
Yeah, and he describes this goddess that comes to him in his dreams and whispers formulas to him.
That's incredible.
It's so powerful. And you have Hardy.
Right.
Who is the ultimate atheist.
Yeah, Mr. Logic and Proof.
Exactly.
Trying to reconcile that.
I can't even imagine.
How do you bridge those two worlds?
Right.
It really highlights, these different ways of understanding the world.
Two brilliant minds coming at it from such different places.
Yet there they are.
But still,
united by this thirst for knowledge.
That's so cool.
It shows that even with these disagreements, you can still have this deep respect for each other.
Right. And for the truth, even if you define it differently.
Exactly.
So sadly, despite Hardy's support and Ramanujan's own resilience, his health kept getting worse.
That's so sad.
He decided to go back to India.
Yeah, hoping that maybe familiar surroundings would help.
Yeah.
Sadly, it didn't, and he passed away at just 32.
So young.
Makes you think, what could he have done with more time?
What a loss.
A huge loss.
And the transcript mentions his notebooks.
Oh, yeah, filled with all these, cryptic formulas.
It's like he left this treasure map.
To undiscovered mathematical territory.
Yeah.
And thankfully, Hardy recognized the importance of those.
Right. He became a champion for his work.
He edited them, helped get them published,
Really helped secure Ramanujan's legacy.
Yeah. He knew these insights had to be shared with the world.
And the transcript mentions that Ramanujan eventually got a fellowship at Trinity College.
Oh, wow. Posthumously.
Yeah.
But still, what an honor.
Such a testament to his work.
Crossing all those boundaries,
And now he's considered one of the greats.
Oh, yeah. Up there with Euler and Gauss and Riemann.
So what stands out to you most about all of this?
I think it's bigger than just math.
Yeah.
It's about raw talent and determination.
Right.
Overcoming adversity.
Right.
Not letting anything stand in your way.
It's inspiring.
Totally. And there's also this element of mystery that just hangs over his work.
Oh, yeah. Some of his formulas and theorems are still unproven.
Yeah, even after all this time, all these brilliant minds studying them.
It's he's still challenging us.
Pushing us to expand our understanding of math.
Yeah.
It raises these fascinating questions about mathematical intuition.
How much is innate?
Right, and how much is influenced by where you come from.
Ramanujan really forces us to rethink those traditional ideas about brilliance.
Maybe it can come from anywhere and look any way.
This story really makes you think.
It's a whole new perspective on knowledge.
Yeah. Makes you think, right? What if he had been born somewhere else?
Yeah.
What if he had had more support back in India?
Oh, totally.
How much more could he have accomplished?
It's like you said, earlier about these systemic barriers.
Right, yeah.
And this really highlights how important it is to support talent.
Yeah.
Wherever we find it.
Yeah, give those opportunities.
Yeah, because brilliance can come from anywhere.
Absolutely.
Right.
So to our listener, we hope this deep dive into Ramanujan's life has really sparked something for you.
Yeah, it's a story about pushing boundaries.
Right. And, there's still so many mysteries to uncover.
Oh, tons.
In math. And maybe even in ourselves.
Yeah, think about that.
And, speaking of mysteries.
Okay.
One of Ramanujan's unproven theorems, it suggests this connection between numbers and physics.
Really?
Yeah, like black holes.
Wow.
It's wild.
That's incredible.
It makes you wonder,
yeah.
Is there a deeper structure to numbers that we just haven't grasped yet?
Right, some meaning that's connected to the universe itself.
It's a really cool thought.
So maybe that's his real legacy.
Mm-hmm.
Not just the theorems that he proved,
Yeah.
but all these questions he left us with.
The questions that keep mathematicians and physicists going.
Yeah, pushing the boundaries.
Of what we know.
I love that. And if you're as fascinated by this story as we are,
Yeah.
we encourage you to keep exploring.
Absolutely.
Check out Ramanujan's notebooks.
See what you discover. Yeah, who knows, you might find yourself drawn into the world of number theory.
Inspired by the legacy of this clerk from Address.
Who dared to dream of infinity.
Amazing.